Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 404,
404
of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouseman Travel. We have seen the owner, Becky, just this past week. She has been to Walt Disney World on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and she's at Disneyland now. Not only her, but some of the agents also. They're kind of testing all of the different waters, and we just came back from Paris ourselves. But check out MEI and Mouseman Travel. They can get you wherever you need to go.
So while we're looking at this footage of the Magic Kingdom that you took the other night, we have to explain that we've had quite the ordeal here at our house since returning home from Paris.
Well, we would have had a show like over a week ago, but we had a lightning strike. I guess it was must have been right outside the house, and so we haven't had air or many other things.
Day
in
10
the house.
of no air conditioning
Yes.
is today, so we're doing this in the, as Cousin Orville would say, the coolest place in the house, which is you might think we sound different, and that's why.
So yeah, it's been almost 90 degrees at times in the house. So anyway, though, we are now walking down Main Street, or I am anyway. It was on the first day of Happily Ever After coming back. I was invited to a media event, and it was really rainy. It rained during Happily Ever After, so I brought the tripod, I brought the video camera, but I didn't bring an umbrella. So I did everything with a phone because it has some, you can do that in the rain.
That's right.
And
Rain resistance. And of course, I was over at Epcot to get the first of the Epcot Forever fireworks. We'll look at that after this.
And I was really grateful to have a media spot where it wasn't too crowded. It wasn't, right in front of the castle, but I was very happy with the location. And so I was just walking around a little bit. I just wanted to kind of give a view of the castle. And I loved all the reflections that you could see earlier, and that's why I try to capture that. Now here is Happily Ever After, and I think it's like 5 years old now. I have to look that up, but Happily Ever After has been such a popular fireworks show at the Magic Kingdom after replacing Wishes. And again, I was really happy with my location. I could see the castle, I could see the fireworks. I did everything handheld with the phone, which to me is amazing.
And you can see it's actually raining pretty hard. If you're looking at this on a bigger screen, you can see the rain. So you did a great job.
I was, I don't think I could have bobbled with a umbrella and everything too. I just held up the phone and tried to do the best I could.
Right. Well, at Epcot, I did do that bobbling with the umbrella. I had a lot of practice at the end of Paris recording under an umbrella, so it can be done.
What I really loved about being there on this first day, which wasn't 100% the first day, they had a cast member preview previous, like the day or two previous, but there was so much cheering, and people were so happy, even in the rain, to just be standing around watching fireworks in the Magic Kingdom for the first time again, except for the cast member preview, since March of 2020. We did a dessert party on one of those last days.
Yeah, we saw Happily Ever After, one of the very last showings. I remember that.
And then the media event was a dessert party with a buffet that you could pick things out of. So I think those could be on the way back at some point. We have actually did that at the Curb Royale as well. So that was actually very nice.
And there's something intangible about actually being there for the fireworks and feeling it in your chest and the smell of the smoke and all of that. It was so wonderful to be back and immersed in the fireworks.
And immersed in the rain.
Well.
There was so much rain that day. So, but it was nice to see everybody. We had only been back from Paris for a couple days or something at this point.
Well,
so
dealing with all the insurance.
Right.
We had no internet right away.
Gosh.
There was many things.
Right. We didn't have internet for a few days. And so when we returned, there's like 7 or 8 things at least that we found that we were missing. The internet was the biggest thing for me, and then the air. And
we're still waiting. Hopefully, 2 more days we will have air conditioning.
Hopefully. So here is, I took, a little bit of footage in the park as well, just kind of showing this fountain with the reflection and Cinderella Castle. It was really nice to be back in the Magic Kingdom. I'm hoping to be again tomorrow during the day.
And what luck you had on the boat on the way back to the parking lot. You got to see the water pageant.
I took, the exit was pretty busy. It's not busy like it used to be, but it was busy. And so I was like, look at like the ferry boat line was really long, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll grab that the Polynesian boat, and then I walked to the TTC.
Right. Oh, now so I'm at Epcot and I saw your fireworks. So you have not seen this yet, but this is the Magic Kingdom fireworks from Epcot.
And I heard your fireworks over in Epcot, but I did not see them.
So here we are. This is where I am, center location. I like this area. It feels like the show plays more to it. And you can see the flames, and here we go. It's Epcot Forever. I do love the music. The big difference from the original show, of course, are no kites.
And the kites were the best part.
They were the best. Flaming kites are always fun.
And I think those kites, I assume those will be what's going to Disney's Animal Kingdom for the show for the 50th, a daytime show. But I really like the kites. Like when they played Epcot Forever the first time, I'm like, flaming kites. I thought that, fire kites, that was the best part.
Most of the music in Epcot Forever is fantastic. It's stuff I love, I grew up with, and it was just, it was really emotional. It was wonderful to be back and see it in person.
And was it pretty busy at the time?
It was not as busy as it was for you. I mean, I was able to get that spot, this is a very good spot, within an hour of the show starting. So I only had to stand in the rain for an hour, where you were probably standing there a bit longer. Well, you had a. You
no,
actually
I
had
a media. I was only standing there about 10 minutes because I didn't go out. I didn't go out with everybody. I waited just a little bit because it was raining, and then I stood in back of people, which I thought actually was a better spot anyway. I had plenty of room to be able to set up.
Right, and I needed to be in the back row because I had intended, and which I did, is shoot this underneath an umbrella. Because it was raining really steady while this was going on.
Plus, I was hauling around that Trader Sam's chip and dip thing that I found for you.
Oh, you should tell that story. That's so wonderful. I can't believe you carried that heavy box all night. That was very nice.
Well, I mean, I carried the tripod, I carried the backpack,
and the video camera, the regular camera. And you only needed a phone.
I was like, a Sherpa? Like, I carried so much stuff that night. And, yeah, the phone was the only thing I needed, actually, for the recording.
I think this is almost the end of the fireworks, and then I'm going to do a circular pan, so you could see what kind of crowd it was and the people exiting Epcot.
It's nice to see fireworks back, and I'm glad that they did both on the same night because it evens out the crowd. So one park isn't, not everybody's going to one park.
And here's the finale. This kind of reminds me of the, those bonus finales you would get around New Year's Eve. Not as intense, but kind of like that, where they light off so many fireworks in that one spot at once.
And we'll get back, not on a rainy night, certainly to Epcot in the near future.
So here's that shot I was telling you about. Now you can kind of get an idea of what the crowd was like. And of course, I did get a little rain on the lens. It doesn't
look too bad. A lot of umbrellas, just like in the and look at all that water on the ground. Like down Main Street wasn't too bad, but that looks like a lot of water.
And it wasn't bad to just kind of wait. I think I stood there for about 10 minutes, waited for the crowd to dissipate, and then had a nice, relaxing walk to the front. And here's where I was sitting with a little reflection of Spaceship Earth, waiting. Because you had, it took you a while, even though your fireworks started 45 minutes before mine, it took you a while to get out of the kingdom to pick me up.
Well, I waited a little while because it was so busy, with people leaving.
So now we're going to switch gears here, and we're at Fort Wilderness for the 4th of July golf cart parade.
I did not know until friends of ours mentioned that they were going to be in the parade, that this was even going to happen this year.
We haven't seen a golf cart parade in a year and a half.
More than a year and a half,
It would have been the 2019 Christmas golf cart parade.
And, so here is... we saw some food trucks, and we were hoping to try a food truck.
But of course, lightning ruined that plan.
There was lightning in the area, so we ended up leaving. But they had outside food trucks plus their own, so I thought that was very nice.
So what was different about this edition, it had been getting bigger and bigger every year with all kinds of characters and a marching band. Scaled back a little bit this year. There were no characters to start the parade. Normally, you would still have the horse and the flag, but then you would have a wagon with all the characters, and of course that wasn't in force.
And I don't know when campers found out that they were going to be able to decorate their carts and have a golf cart parade. It wasn't you didn't have too many carts that were like over the top. Like usually you have a few, like when Gabe and his family did the Muppets.
Like planned out months in advance, right?
Well, we've talked to not cast members, we've talked to guests who have decorated golf carts, especially for Halloween and Christmas. And sometimes they take several months to design them. And all of these were very nice, like very patriotic and all. But it's like when Gabe and his family did the Muppets was really, really fun.
And this is our friend coming up here, and they worked on it for quite some time. It's a beautiful cart.
They decorate their apartment.
Yes.
Yes, a lot.
Yes. I always, when I go to the Daytona races and we go together, I always love seeing the inflatables on the way over there to Celebration.
There was a lot of American Eagle decorations. There was a lot of Mickey. There's Lightning McQueen, and there's a Mater too, which I bet you're going to see.
Of course, I will show that.
What I was really what I was really impressed with was a few of the carts they drew. Like some of the campers are very talented artists, and so they would put like a Mickey and Minnie hand drawn, or I think Chip and Dale.
And there's the dog with the tie. You finally saw the tie.
I missed it
again.
Yeah,
I'll have to rewind and show you that later.
I didn't even notice the tie, but it was a big dog next to us, and he so friendly and
Well,
so
a
calm.
lot of the campers would wave to the dog, which was great for the video. They would slow down and look at the dog with the tie and all that. So that was really nice. There were over 100 golf carts in this. It kept coming and coming. It was a long parade.
A lot of flags. A lot of inflatables, we just saw pinwheels.
This is very unique. I like the Christmas tree, the patriotic Christmas tree. And before this, you saw the Declaration of Independence. That was very creative as well on top of one of the carts.
Go Lightning.
Go
right?
Lightning. And tonight, I hope the Bolts, of course, my favorite hockey team has to be the Lightning, what has caused all this problem for the last 10 days.
Yes.
But I hope they win the cup tonight.
And so now this little mini cart is always there as well.
Oh, yeah. So now we're going to switch over. We're here at Disneyland Paris. That was our surprise that we were alluding to when we did the last show at the end.
I said bonjour.
Bonjour. I think it was pretty obvious.
It wasn't so hard.
So this was very early on in Americans able to travel to Europe, to France. I think it was the third possible day, and we had to have a COVID test before, but we had some challenges getting out. So
Expedia was terrible. We were delayed 2 days, but we made it in time. You were able to cover the media event for the grand opening of reopening of Disneyland Paris, plus go to the Marvel Hotel, Disney's Hotel, New York, the Art of Marvel.
It was really awesome and emotional. I mean, I was in the park before it opened to the public, and you had some other cameras and waiting for the first guest to arrive, and you're about to see, these were actually not the first paid guests, but they were the first guests. They were volunteers and people like that. So they were the first guests coming in, very exciting. And then right after they did their thing with the cameras, they let in all the guests. And then, Main Street was so much fun with all the cast members. We're going to see that.
And I was back at the hotel room waiting for you to send me information, so I could post. But I kind of wish that I had left earlier.
I wish you had been there. You should have been there for this.
And turned up my phone on. I hadn't turned my phone on yet because it's $10 a day. So we did that a bunch of times, but not every day. So here are the guests. And this was, to be able to get back into Disneyland Paris. Disneyland Paris felt not like it had been closed to me at all during the trip.
Amazing. They did such an amazing job. I mean, things looked better. The last time we were at Disneyland Paris was around Halloween, the start of the Halloween season of 2019. But the park looked better than ever, and that's because of all the upkeep and the great cast members and all the work they've done to keep it up.
And the way things are with the government and all that, all the cast members still had their jobs, and they were, for the most part, in their normal locations. So you felt like this sense of continuity. They weren't all in their exact locations because not all locations were open. But actually, like restaurants and such, more were open during our stay than normal, which I thought was very nice.
I have never had the fast service or whatever work as well.
Excellent.
And they don't even have mobile order yet. I know that's coming. But they have not used that yet. There has been some very big news out of Disneyland Paris, though, lately, as far as the restart of Fast Passes. They're now going to have a new system.
It's not called Fast Pass. They're not going to call it that because there's no more free Fast Pass. It's going to be Premier Access, just like Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to ride a ride and you want to ride it more quickly, it's going to be €8 to €15, meaning about $10 to $20
per person.
Per person, per ride. And I think this is the type of thing we're going to be seeing here. I don't know exactly what we're going to see here, but we'll see, I assume, soon enough.
Now, that's not necessarily something that interests me on a regular basis.
No.
Maybe I would do it every really once in a while.
If you really want to ride something.
If I really need to, but I don't see it as something I will be using.
Disney Plus, I'm saying Disney Plus, Disneyland Paris does not have very long lines for most rides. Even when we rode Thunder Mountain, that was about an hour or a little less wait.
Now, there was some other news, which was very good news, is they will be restarting the sales of annual passes. So there was quite a bit of concern with pass holders there that they were doing away with the annual pass system. But great news, that is restarting very soon.
And I am hoping that we
go in person to reinstate it. Our passes end at the end of November. Isn't it amazing our passes are still good and will be good until the end of November?
I mean, they'll be good for over 2 years, I think, at this point, once you add in not only the close time period, but I think they gave us many months, I think, extra.
And we've been talking about other things, but I want to mention the amazing cast members that were on the Main Street there,
all
just welcoming everybody back. It was so nice. They were doing that for hours, for at least 2 hours or longer. They were on Main Street welcoming all the guests back. That was really great.
And the castle is behind a scrim right now, although the scrim is a little down so you can see some of the work being done on it. They're putting so much effort into it. And from what I understand, it should be unveiled fully by the end of the year.
I look forward to that. It looks awesome.
It looks, the turrets and all look really great.
So now we're going to take a look at one of our favorite character cavalcades, the Cheshire Cat train. But overall, I think they do an amazing job with the character interactions, the cavalcades, and everything involving the characters there.
This actually is my favorite of the cavalcades. And the fun thing is, it's a Cheshire Cat train, or it's Cheshire Cat. But Cheshire Cat also is on the train. So he gets to ride his own train.
I remember we were there for his very first ever appearance. And it was Halloween a few years ago.
Yes, at least like 3 or 4 years ago, I think now. And I just want to mention also, you're probably noticing masks, indoors, outdoors, everywhere, contact tracing. Like they really have been very careful. There is Cheshire Cat, there is White Rabbit, who's not looking at us, Alice, and the Mad Hatter.
I'd like you to mention just very quickly about the contact tracing for whenever you eat, even fast food at Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, and we're just still watching the train. When you go to a restaurant, and we can talk about it more next week
we will.
You would put your information in, and just for contact tracing, like every single restaurant we went to.
Can you imagine? So you go to Pecos Bill, and before you get your food, you have to put in all your information, where you're staying, and also your guests and everything. Yeah. So it's actually a great thing.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was very interesting, and but yeah, any of the fast food outlets, and also I thought it would be just table service at first, but it was every outlet we went to.
And there are a number of these cavalcades, and they change all the time. Sometimes we've seen different versions of them throughout the days that we were there.
I love seeing it. Like, we didn't see, it's funny because the Mickey and Friends I didn't see very often.
And I saw that a lot. For some reason, maybe you had gone and done something else. I saw Mickey and Friends like 7 times.
Well, I went grocery shopping and stuff almost every day at Auchan. Like
Auchan number one fan.
It is. You know what? Auchan, I love to go there, and I'm there almost every day. It's like a big playground of groceries.
I can't believe it. That is another show, a quicker show because it is sweltering in here. But next week we'll have a bonus show. We should have full air conditioning. We'll talk much longer. We have all kinds of things to show you from Disneyland Paris.
So much Disneyland Paris.
And probably more from Walt Disney World. There's so much going on here as well.
But we really want to talk. I want to talk so much about Disneyland Paris because it was such a fantastic. It was so fantastic.
And we also want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Yeah, check them out. They can help you get wherever you want to go and anywhere.
We're going to talk about why we wish that we had dealt with Mouse Fan Travel. This was such a last-minute trip, and Expedia was horrendous, and we'll talk all about it. It's too long to get into.
Yes, and I have used Expedia for about 20 years for this type of trip, but that was the last time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But the Epcot Food and Wine Festival is like a week away, so if we get anything from the prep from that, then we will talk about that as well.
I can't believe it. It's just the beginning of July, and we're talking about the Food and Wine Festival, and it's only about a month until Halloween.
Yes, and Epcot Flower and Garden just ended a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. So, there's not very much time. Usually we get about 2 months in between festivals, and this time we get about just a handful of days.
Well, again, in about a month, we'll be at the very first Boo Bash. We did get our tickets, so that will be interesting to see a little early bird Halloween coming to the Magic Kingdom.
Yes, it'll be interesting and probably very hot.
Yes, I imagine it will be very. It can't be hotter than we are right now in our house, though.
Yes, it can be. Yes, it can be. We're in the mid 80s here, so we'll see. But it should be fun. It'll be fun to see what Disney has come up with for Boo Bash.
So thanks again for listening. Have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.